we're going to be creating a very important document called the cover letter to a resume. But before we do that, let's create a nice template, a letterhead template that we can use with this letter and every other letter we might create in the future. And before we do that, let's make sure we set up Word in a really efficient way. First thing we want to do, of course, is turn on the Show Hide button. That will show us all the paragraph marks and spaces and tab characters. And then let's take a look at the ruler. Okay, if we click on the View tab, there's a checkbox over on the left for the ruler, and that turns on the ruler, which is nice. And let's go back to our Home tab, and let's zoom in so we get a nice big image. We're going to go down in the lower right, click on the Zoom In button, and we'll bring it up to probably about 160, 170%. So it's nice and big. This does not affect how it's going to print. It just affects how it looks on the screen. And it's good to have it nice and big so we can see all of the problems and we can address them really nicely. Okay, good. So here we go. Let's type the most important thing of our letter, okay, which is going to be, of course, our name. So I'll type my name, and you can type yours. Okay, I'll hit the Enter key, and I'll type address. And address, I'll just make up an address. Okay, I'll hit the Enter key, and then I'll create the more important address, which is our email and our phone number. And again, I'll make up an email address. I should do a phone number first. And then a phony email address. Hit the Enter key. There we go. Now, because it looks like an email address, Word says, I should set that as a hyperlink, which it did. Well, it's nice, but this, if it's an electronic document, it works pretty well, but this is going to probably be printed on paper, in which case hyperlinks don't work too well. So let's get rid of the hyperlink. We'll just right-click it, and a menu comes up, and we'll choose Remove Hyperlink, and it goes away. Okay, now let's fix up our letterhead here. Of course, there's too much space between the lines, and that's actually space between the paragraphs, right? So what we'll do is get rid of the spacing between the paragraphs. We could select all the paragraphs and go up to page layout and adjust the spacing, but let's do it an easy way. We don't have to select anything actually. We can just go to the Design tab in Word 2013, and over on the right side is a button called Paragraph Spacing, and we can just click this button here. It says No Paragraph Space. Click on that. It gets rid of all the paragraph space. Isn't that nice? Okay, good. So now everything is nice and tight. And again, for letters, we really don't need paragraph spacing. It's better actually not to have it. It makes it easier to space things out in a really precise way. Okay, good. So we have this now, but we want to give some emphasis to some of these items here and make them look real nice. And the most important item, of course, is our name. So let's select that. We'll go up to the Home tab and we'll make it bold. And we'll pop up the size to 16 points, which is good. And let's do something similar to the addresses here. Okay, we're going to select 2 lines. Don't select the last paragraph mark there, okay? Just select the first 2 lines of the address, and we're going to make them bold again, and we're just going to bump it up to 12 points, okay? But what would be nice is if we took these 2 lines and moved them over to the right side of the page. If we click here in the paragraph group and click on the Align Right button, which pops everything over to the right side, and it's good. So now we have our name on the left and our addresses on the right, and let's connect them together. Let's put a nice little line, a horizontal line between the 2. So what I'm going to do is use a border, a bottom border for my name. So if I click someplace in my name, and I'll go up here and click on the Borders button. Well, actually, the Borders button right now is set to do a bottom border, but it's a very thin border. So let's change that. Let's click on the arrow here to see what options we have. And there's a bunch of options, but not one for a thick bottom border. So let's go down all the way to the bottom and go to the Borders and Shading dialog box, and we don't want a box, we just want a single line. So we'll click on the Custom option here, And we will keep the color as default, and we'll change the width to, we'll go down to 3 points, make it nice and thick. And we'll put it at the bottom of our selection. We can either click this little button here, or just click at the bottom of the group there and just click OK. And oh, isn't that nice? Okay, good. So we have our little template, and now we need to save it. We're probably going to be using it for other letters in the future. So let's go up to File, and we'll go to Save As, and we'll go and click the Browse button here. And now we want to save it in a special way because this is a template. It's not just a normal document. So what we'll do is, first of all, we'll click on Word document and change it from just a plain old Word document to a Word template. And when we do that, you notice it changes up here. It takes us to a different folder called Custom Office Templates. And there's not much there right now, but what we should do is change the name here because everything we do is going to have our name on it. So let's change that to Rich '(S), Rich's Letterhead Template. There we go. And then click on the Save button. So now we've saved our template and we can reuse it over and over again in the future. Okay, well, let me show you how that's done. Let's pretend we're finished and we're gonna create a new letter. So we'll go up here, click File. We'll close down our template. Okay, and then sometime later, tomorrow, next week, we want to create a letter based on that template. So we'll go up here and click on File. We're going to create new to create a new document, and there are a bunch of templates here that Microsoft has provided us with, but we want to use ours. We want to click here and click on the Personal button, which shows there's only 2 templates there. We're going to click this one here that we just created, and here it is. And you notice it comes up just like before, but now if you look up at the title bar, the title is Document 2. It's not Rich's Letterhead Template. Okay, this creates a new document, which is nice because there's very little chance of us overwriting the original template. So we're creating a new document based on that template, and now we can get started. And in the next video, we'll actually start creating the letter.